Unfortunately, with a lot of the A24 horror movies coming out, they're kind of going downhill, and Opus might be one of them. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing Opus. What's about pretty simple premise. You have a girl who's been in I could say in the magazine business for about 2-3 years. She feels like she is not being seen whatsoever. Her editor is kind of taking over her job or giving her good ideas to other people. However, they both get, invitations to go to this crazy, you could say cult-ish compound in Utah that John Malkovich runs, who's a pop star, and he's releasing like his 16th studio album, and it's been like 30 plus years. And of course, shenanigans is going to ensue on this compound. And is it all perfectly played out for John Malkovich, or is it going to just be a downhill spiral for everyone in the movie? So, did I like this film? I thought it was okay, but I do wish it had a little bit more gut punch, or it wanted to just push the boundaries a little bit more. Yes, there could have been a little bit, like I said, that's what I think is. You have a cultist movie, right? You could do some, bonkers, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Leonardo DiCaprio with the flamethrower, like that bonkersness, which that's like fucking, here, there's nothing kind of like that. Yeah, there's some kind of like, oh shit moments, but at the end of the day, it was more of like a petty revenge thriller when it came to, like almost like the following cult people, like they're getting ready to, arise for John Malkovich. Positives. John Malkovich is fantastic in this story. He completely steals the show. Like he just knows he's having fun. He's playing a old pop star. He's wearing heels all the time, and he's just having a fun freaking time. I bet you he saw the script and he's like, oh, so I'm thinking I'm going to have a lot of leeway with what I kind of want to do, and I'm going to have to agree that is what happened. So other actors in this movie we have like Julia Lewis, we have Ayo Edebiri, I have no idea how to pronounce that, I suck at life, Murray Bartlett, Young Mazon, if you know that, he was in the show Beef, but he has a very small part, honestly. There's other characters. So when it comes to the overall premise of this movie, it could have been so much more. I think that's what I just was really disappointed in that because, yes, from the trailers, everyone's blue. You have the weird cultist vibe to it. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're just thinking like, oh, like I kind of saw this coming from a million miles away, and everything where it tried to like push the boundaries to do something cool, they hide it. For example, there's a scene where they're on a third floor of a fake house and the door closes. And all the fighting happens behind closed doors and they open the door. You're just like, really? You couldn't show just a little bit of it? I know you want to do the suspense of like, oh, what's gonna happen after these 20 seconds and who's gonna be up, who's gonna be down, who's gonna be alive, who's gonna be dead. But at the same time, you kind of know what's gonna occur with what is actually applying to this movie. Also, you kind of get the glimpse of it of like who they're inviting. A person John Malkovich hates, an influencer, a paparazzi person, celebrity, interviewer, and then a magazine or, paper writer. You're like, okay, why would he invite all these perfect people that have a past with John Malkovich? You kind of know. Okay, one of them doesn't. That's the influencer, but they still, are just annoying as shit. Let's be honest. Like TikTok influencers, you just want to sometimes punch them in the throat. They're just like so fucking annoying. And I can understand John Malkovich for that. I mean, the look of the movie is good, being in a Utah desert and having this compound. It is fun. I think the costumes are cool as well with the blueness to it. The oyster thing, I don't know if that makes sense. And I think that's the other thing is like it wants to try to expand on some things, like this oyster and the pearl thing, and what some of these people have to go through, where some of these characters come from. But at the same time, you're just like, okay, what does that have to do with this? What does that have to do with this? What does that have to do with this? I mean, there are moments of greatness, like this puppet show about what happened to Billy and with these mice. That was cool. Like, that was just so cool. And John Malkovich grabbing the little microphone. Like, there's little, like, snippets of, like, that's a good idea. That's a fucking good idea. That's a good idea. But then at the same time, you're like, if you're going to sit on a person, you would think you'd be like, huh, what's that thing in my, what am I sitting on? What am I sitting on? Or just other things like that where you just kind of think about it. You're just like, yeah. And the end of the day, this truly is about, stop making stupid people famous. Or you could say, the whole celebrity culture, everyone's like, oh my God, like that person's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like Ariana Grande, oh, it's like, no, that's a person. They're weird as fuck. After watching the Oscars and how her and Cynthia Erivo act, they're just weird as shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, they're one of the people that if the spotlight's not on them, I feel like they shake at night. And it's kind of the same thing with here with like, I think that most people that are famous, I think might have a mental illness that if they're not seen, they kind of just like go fucking ape shit. And this kind of has that same story, as well as you think you might be doing good, but at the end of the day, you're actually helping people get the word out and you don't really mean to. And of course, you kind of, like I said, see that coming from a million miles away as well, just with where the story was going. And, you knew it wasn't going to be the exact, like, what was that thing that happened, like drinking the Kool-Aid and 80 people died? So there's that. Overall, Opus, I mean, it's a good-looking movie. I was intrigued by what the movie, like, what Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 was. I was like, okay, where's this going to go? Where's this going to go? Then you finally realize, oh, it's more just like shock and awe moments that don't lead anywhere. And when it tries to lead somewhere, you're just like, it's not nothing new. Like, give me something that I could like chew on and be like, oh my God. But like I said, the main reason to see this movie, John freaking Malkovich. So Opus will receive a 2 out of 5 with Futon. He goes at 40%. Let's see the critics' news scores gave this one. Critics, snap, a 40% with 85 of them. Critic consensus. John Malkovich is clear having a ball playing a nefarious pop musician Opus, but unfortunately, the rest of this thriller is too conceptually confused for the star's fun to prove infectious. I don't know if it's confused. But anyway, we got 40s. We're tied. Chase Hawk here's the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm known as Futontopia. You Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'll watch this tape tomorrow, week from now, month, or year from now, every single freaking one of you. And are you part of a cult? Please say no. Please say no.